All right. I have to do a drum intro. What's up, everybody? Uh, Welcome. This is episode 2 of Inside the Actor's Garage. We are focused on my father, Raymond Hurrey, who was the original percussionist, Conga player for The Last Poets. The Last Poets, they are given huge credit as pioneers of hip hop, or the creators of hip hop. Them, Gil Scott-Heron, they were all in the same mix. My father was in the group. He played Conga on the first 3 albums, the original 3 albums. He was the Conga player. So while the poets did their poetry, my dad was slapping Conga. He passed that talent on to me. And today we have Barbara Oxendine representing. She was a good friend of my father's. She was friend, colleague, dancer, artist. And welcome, Barbara.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good. I first saw Barbara. It was years before I saw Barbara. I was probably a little boy before I saw Barbara. Yeah, I was very little. Mm-hmm. And Barbara and I ran into each other when I was living in Pensacola, Florida.
Yes.
I was there for about 10 years. And Barbara is in Fort Walton Beach, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Fort Walton. And Barbara and I connected. And it was when I was first moving to Pensacola. There wasn't a lot of culture in Pensacola, particularly. There was no African.
No.
There was African dance, but it wasn't like we came up with where we really brought it.
No,
there were good artists in Pensacola, but Barbara helped me, like my first 2 years, to put a small unit of dancers together and help me to bring that art and culture, the African dance and drum in Pensacola. And so if you want to really, you'll hear people say all the time, you know, the arts, it's a small world. That's a definite example, because I was in New York before Pensacola, Florida. And then I ran into you there, and the rest is history. So you got a chance to work with my dad first, and an arts aspect, and then me.
Yes.
And while I'm on it, you know, I'm kind of veering off, but I've never thought about how, after working with me, even though we worked a little while, Barbara, in Pensacola, you and I, you know, it went from Little Pooh Bear to Director Pooh Bear.
To Mr. Pooh Bear.
To Mr. Pooh Bear, which is my nickname, everybody. Okay, I'm just going to give it to the world now. It's no secret. Big Pooh Bear. What are some of the similarities and differences, and like how Dad was a director and me when you worked with me for that short time? Can you remember and compare?
Well, first of all, you are so much your father, because you did not teach just dance, you know, African dance, and you did not just drum. You explained the history, a lot like your father. You cannot be a part of this particular culture unless you know this culture.
That's right.
And that is where you two are. You are just like your dad on that.
Really? So he was.
Yes.
Do you know? And I think he was big on. I'm just making sure this is recorded. He is. Wouldn't it be a shame if we did all that and I forgot to hit record? But I think Dad was really big into the history. You know, he was into the Yoruba religion.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know that. And, you know, I never forget, Mom showed me the books. He had like a volume of books that were in the Yoruba language. And he would come home every night, Mom said, and he would translate it into English, like with some Yoruba dictionary, but I think he was like an educator, philosopher, dude. He was into the information in the background.
Yes, he was. As a matter of fact, when the company actually first started, that was one of the things that he taught. He taught us the religion in regards to the dance, because you just don't do African dance. And let me tell you, your dad, when he taught something, especially when it came to dance, you best get it. because
Really?
he was very, very particular,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted it done correctly.
Right.
So we had to learn what each step represented and why. And we even had classes. You know, when you think about it, now that I
Yeah.
think about it, you know, he would ask us a question in regards to what piece we were working on, and you best know it. If not, you had to
Right.
go look it up.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
And that's
Yes.
strange because I'm gonna ask about his rehearsal process in a minute. You're already kind of going there, you know, and I love hearing that kind of stuff because again, and this is for the people at home watching, my father passed when I was maybe like 6,
Mm-hmm.
7. And so when I'm inviting the barbers and people that knew him in light so the world could know him, I'm learning a lot about my father from stories from his colleagues, his friend. It's awesome for me. So it's like a double-edged sword here. Yes, so yeah, the education, and that's been lost a lot now, Barbara. There's a lot of people with the drum and dance that they have the instruments, they put on the lapas, the gele, but they really don't know the history and educational component of the culture, and that is important.
Yes, it is. One of the other things that your dad taught us, now that I think about it,
Yeah,
we had to learn about each and every instrument that was played. He
really.
also had someone come and teach us how to make the shakeres. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, complete with the gourds, tied up,
Yeah.
understand what the sounds were for each one. He also
Wow.
taught us how to listen for distinct sounds when it came to playing the congas.
Mm.
He
Really?
also had
Oh,
someone to come and show us how they actually made each one of the drums, complete
really?
with sheepskin. I think it was sheepskin.
Well, the goat skin on
Some
the
goat
djembe,
skin. Yes.
right? Because that was about the time Ngoma came down.
Yes. Yes.
Because Dad knew about the congas, the Latin
Mm-hmm.
percussion, and when he connected with Chuck
Yes.
and Chuck's family, that's when he started getting into the West African.
Yes.
But then he passed not too long,
Yeah.
after that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the goat skin. Yeah.
It's goat skin. We had where it had to be cured and how it was stretched. But hey, it was well worth it. It was well worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important to know. I'm not surprised it makes me feel good because really, Barbara, that's the basis of how I even teach my students, middle school, high
Mm-hmm.
school, college, university. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like we have to teach the background, even if it's
Yes.
brief, if it's a master class workshop. When people leave, they should know the name of the dance style that they worked on and familiar with the rhythm, at least the
Yes.
downbeat of it, and the
Absolutely.
country that it originated in,
Yes.
to the best of
Mm-hmm.
our ability.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so I agree. Tell us, I always start with everybody, and again, this is like I'm experimenting a lot, but tell us about yourself, Barbara. Like, where were you born? I guess I'll start there. That's always easy. Where were you born?
I was born in St. Augustine, Florida, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And after, let's see, my mom moved all of us to Goldsboro in 72,
That was my next
1972.
question. How did you end
Yeah.
up in Goldsboro?
Yeah, that's where my mom's, family is from after my dad passed.
Mhm.
So she moved all us kids up there to be close to her family. Like her parents were still living, all her brothers. So we all had men folk to fall back on because mom had 6 girls and 1 boy.
Wow.
So
I never knew that, Barbara. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And so I lived there until I got married and moved here in 82.
82. So you moved to where? Fort Walton?
To Fort Walton.
In
I
82.
got married, moved here, and
That
hadn't
wasn't
left.
too long after Dad started cultural movement.
Uh-huh.
Because he did that, and he started cultural movement in 77.
I was there from the beginning.
Wow, and 82.
And you know how I met your dad? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready because that's one of the questions, Of course, tell us. I would love to know how you met.
I was in the mall.
Yeah.
I was in the mall, and he was outside of one of the stores drumming.
What?
Yes. And
Inside the
so,
mall drumming.
yes.
Now, did you start a conversation with him? Do you remember how it went? Or
At point blank, I said, "Who are you and what are you doing?"
wow.
And that's when he told me that he was trying to, uh, his goal was to introduce the culture to people, and if anyone was interested, he wanted to form a company.
Mhm.
Uh, and I remember that he said, "If you can, I will be meeting at the library." It was one of the rooms at the library. Yeah, at one of the rooms at the library.
Mhm.
And I went there. I think it was that Saturday, the
Yeah.
following Saturday.
Because it was always Saturday rehearsals.
Yeah, and I never left. I was there until I got married and moved here.
Wow. And you were you when did you marry? What year did you marry? If you started with him,
82.
so okay, you got married in '82.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so was your husband like a part of that whole like arts experience? You going to rehearsals? When did y'all meet? You and your husband, like
Actually,
the
my husband
relationship?
and actually my husband and I are high school sweethearts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, we went to school together. We actually grew up together, and he
Goldsboro High
was in the
School?
military. Yeah, he was in the military.
Okay. You went to
He
Goldsboro High School?
No, I was already graduated from high school when I moved to Goldsboro. He's also from
Okay.
St. Augustine. Yeah, he's also
Okay,
from St.
got you.
Augustine. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
So he was had been in the military. We had kind of lost contact for a few years, and
Mhm,
when he got back to the States, because he had been overseas, he
mhm.
contacted me, and as my mom said, the rest was history.
All right, man. Congratulations, and still kicking to this day.
38 years this June.
Yeah, that's good. Look, they don't make them like that much anymore. You know,
No.
it's a different time, unfortunately.
Yes.
So we all commend you for that.
Thank you.
Let's look. Let's show people, Dad. You know, I found out I can share my screen with you. We can still talk.
Okay.
And for those that just don't know him, so here I go again, experimenting. I think share screen. Okay. I think okay, we're gonna share. Okay, there's all my Facebook mess. Okay. So, let me see. Which one is this?
Yep,
This
that's
one.
I remember that
That's
concert right
him.
there. Yep.
That's him. And I think this is that. So let's hit this slideshow, if I'm not mistaken. This is how it should go from beginning. Okay. Can you still see me, Barbara?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. You can see the picture of Dad. You're seeing
Yes.
everything on my screen.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. So yeah, for everybody at home, if you don't know, these are photos of my father, various moments. Barbara, you might even see some photos that you can comment on and remember.
Okay.
This is how I'm going to start out every episode of Inside the Actor's Garage when it pertains to my father, because I think it's important for everybody to see what we're talking about. It's going to be the same photos, but I don't think we can get enough. There he is again. Different style of drum. Dad played Conga and Bata drums. I
Mm-hmm.
think the Bata from Nigeria. The Conga, of course, are Latin percussion instruments. So that's him at a show. That's him in the library where the company used to rehearse every Saturday.
There's Edna. There's
There's
Edna.
Edna, yeah.
And
Edna
her son Blue.
Roberts. Yeah. There's Blue, Dana. And there I am.
That's
You know,
you.
ready to learn. Ready to learn. What time, you know what, do you remember what time rehearsals were by any chance?
In the morning.
They were,
We would start like 9 in the morning.
wow,
And
really?
rehearsals was, especially if it was a good rehearsal, we would be
Uh-huh.
there all day for the most part.
Are you serious, Barbara?
I'm serious.
Like all day, like to what, 5?
Yeah.
or earlier, or early 5, at least 5.
At least 5.
Man, those were good times then.
Especially if it's a good rehearsal.
I mean,
Good
that's like a
rehearsals.
full work day. Like,
Yeah.
what
But when
would
you're
y'all
having
do?
fun, I mean, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, he introduced me to a style and a culture that I was not familiar with.
Yeah.
And so I took that and I ran with it. Brought my girls there. So they
Yeah.
were there for a lot of the rehearsals. And I just continued to do, just continue to try to grow into that culture. So yeah, we were there, we would be there for a good while. And then when Chuck was introduced to the company, oh my goodness,
Mm-hmm.
the times, the times.
Right. Yeah. Like the
He was
good
another
times,
force to
or
be
like
reckoned with.
the
Yep, he was
collaboration did it.
somebody else. Mm-hmm.
It did, meaning like the collaboration became more intense,
Yes, it did.
plus more
Because
fun.
yeah, it was still fun, but Chuck brought in he taught technique because he
Okay.
brought in a lot of ballet, jazz,
Mm.
modern. So he brought in a lot of technique and he made sure that we knew it.
Ah. How's
Mm-hmm.
so
Oh yeah.
him and Dad together? Like how was their vibe, their collaboration? It must have been good. I mean, whenever I see pictures, they just look like they're having a blast. They must have got along well.
They did. Chuck was a riot. Now your
Mm.
dad is funny, but with Chuck,
Always. That's classic Chuck. He is a riot.
you couldn't do anything but laugh. Both of them were crazy.
Man, I bet that was awesome to see them
It
both together.
was. It was. I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of it. I
I am
have no
really
regrets.
I'm really
Mm-mm.
tripping off the whole comment of the all-day rehearsals with y'all feeling nothing about it. I talk with my friends a lot about the artists now are just a little more soft, too sensitive, and whiny. And I believe because we came from those times you're talking about, I think it's given us the strength to last to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Because y'all were so hard on us and we took it.
Yes.
But a lot of times in rehearsal, these artists now, and I'm just speaking because I'm still in the art, as you know, Barbara, but they don't have tough skins like we had.
No. And see, with your dad and your mom, they believed in excellence.
Mm.
That would account for us being there for long periods of time when it came to rehearsals, because there was no half stepping, especially when it came to your mom. Oh no. It
Really?
had to be correct at
Mm.
all times, from head to toe. As a matter of fact, we made all of our outfits, from the grass skirts to
Uh-huh. You
the
didn't have no
gay,
costume designer. It was y'all.
everything. We made everything. Mm-hmm.
That's
As a matter
awesome.
of fact, you see this right here?
Yeah. That's the tie-dye we made.
Yes.
You still
I
have
had
that,
two pieces, but I lost one. Yeah. That
Look,
I've had all these years.
you want to talk about quality. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody at home, Barbara just showed us that piece of tie-dye material we made ourselves. I think it was Chuck who led the workshop in the backyard of our house in North Carolina.
Yes, he did. We learned how to tie-dye. Yes, we did.
Tie-dye, and that color is still rich and together because it was made right. I have a black and white photo of Vicky and Brenda. Vicky, rest her soul, and Brenda holding those, and I'm gonna post them.
Okay.
That's amazing. You have that. Yeah. That's Dad, and that's Mom, and that's my grandmother. So that's Mom's mom, and they got married in the house on John Street in North Carolina.
Cool.
Have you ever seen that one, Barbara?
No, and you look like your dad, and Colette looks like your mom.
Really? Everybody says that. They say I look just like him, and she looked just like her. One of my friends that watched the interview with her the other day, he's out of the country. He's not, he's my homeboy. And when he saw it, even he said, "Man, your sister looked just like your mom." Yeah, so it's uncanny. For those of y'all at home, this is one of the promo pics when Dad was with the Poets. And one thing I think is important for everybody to know, Dad was the only member, fact, not fiction. I've done the research. I've seen the album covers. Dad was the only one on all 3 albums. The Poets who were doing the lyrics themselves were going in and out for whatever reasons. Dad wrote Dad wrote a story about how the Poets started, and he actually told who was there and when for what album. It's very interesting. I'm going to share it eventually on his Facebook page.
Okay.
That's one of the promo. Here's another promo. More of the Poets. There's Dad, of course, here. I'm still in touch with Umar and Abiodun. Didn't know too much about this one. I think this was Alafia Pudim was his name. First album cover for the Poets, for people at home that don't know. That was album number 1, self-titled. There is Dad here. I always like this picture because it's very real.
Mm-hmm.
It's everyday people, you know. Here is the original cultural movement that was in New York. And I think Colette told me about this in her interview, that this was the original cultural movement, Barbara, but they weren't about dance. They were about the music and song.
Uh-huh.
And let me see, there's Mom here.
Mm-hmm.
And Uncle Ronnie. Did you ever meet Uncle Ronnie?
I don't think I did. Or if I did, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's Dad's brother.
Okay.
Dad's brother. It's Dad teaching again, just so we can educate the studio audience at home. This is the second album cover. This is Madness, and there's Dad in the middle sitting on the drum, which I was taught to never do out of respect for the drum. So that's ironic. I guess it was an artistic choice. It looked good. And there is the third album cover. Now, I'm interviewing Uncle Ronnie tonight, Barbara.
Okay.
So definitely tune into these. And do you know, I think Uncle Ronnie just told me last night, this is not the original album cover for the third album, which was called Chastisement.
Okay.
But Uncle Ronnie has the original album. He won't give it up to me, but he's gonna take a picture of it for me. He's just, you know, I'm like, yo, I'm his son. How you gonna hold out? But this Ronnie, it's just funny. Anyway, yeah, and that's it. Now let me see. Let me make sure I stop the share. I don't want to say stop video. Stop share, and then we can get you. I thought it was just good to let everybody that, you know, they're not as familiar with Dad.
Yeah.
You know, that little backstory. Okay, moving on. Let me question you. Let me dig more. Tell us about your career, Barbara. What has your career been like? What is it like?
Well, currently I am retired.
That's good. Yeah, congratulations.
I did 32 years working for the telephone company.
Wow. Now, which company, if you don't mind me asking?
It's now called CenturyLink.
Mm-hmm.
I went through 4 name changes before I retired.
Wow, really?
So, yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
And worked as a building manager, basically. All I did was just go and check, make sure the building was running smoothly. If there was any issues, plumbing, painting, you know, that sort of thing. And so for 32 years, that's what I did.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Tell us your best memory of Dad.
Which one?
Top of your head, like your best memory of Dad. Now, were there any bests, or were there bad ones? Is that what I'm reading?
No, it's so many.
Okay,
so many. Let me see. My best memory. It involves your mom.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the very first time, this was I think it was at the very first Black Arts Festival that we had at Herman Park. And your mom and Dad danced. And the way they did it, oh my, I wanted to learn how to do it. They were so in sync that it was just absolutely beautiful. Right. And I still remember that to this day. He tried to teach us, but I mean, you know, when you have certain rhythm, and you can't teach rhythm. I'm sorry, you cannot teach rhythm.
That's right.
And he and your mom, I guess because they had been dancing for so long, they were one. They were one. It was just beautiful. That's what I remember most of. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good memory. That's good. Yeah, it was the salsa merengue, because from what I understand, they spent many weekends at the Palladium in New York. which was the hot club back then. And whenever I bring up the Palladium to people, they tell me the unique thing about it was that it was always the live salsa bands.
Yes.
Was it no DJ, which, you know, brought a completely new feel to it. And so the Black Arts Festival was in Herman Park.
Yes.
Because I remember eventually it was in Mini Wheel Park. I remember when it was in Mini Wheel. They had a Sunday in the park at Herman Park too.
Yeah.
I think Dad brought
maybe
a lot
that
of
was it,
culture.
Sunday in the Park. And we were introduced at the time. I think we were just getting started. I think, we were building, our reputation had preceded us, as a matter of fact. I found out later. We had an audience that I wasn't even aware of.
Right.
People had already heard about us, and they had heard that, you know, there was going to be an African dance group. And they were really more intrigued to see exactly what we were going to do.
Yeah.
But we did. And I mean, we were invited to dance at one of the plays that, you know, that the community would put on. As a matter of fact, the play was Showboat. And we danced.
Showboat,
and we danced in that. We traveled. Oh my goodness, I love going traveling. We became a traveling troupe. Oh my goodness, I had such a good time. And I think I did take my girls a couple of times. As a matter of fact, Tori was actually in one of the productions that we did because she was a young initiate. And the look on her face is like, Mama, do I really have to do this? I said, yes, you really have to do this.
How's Tori doing though?
She's doing great. As a matter of fact, she's an RN now, and she's teaching. She's a teacher down in Tampa. She has a little girl.
All right, good.
10 going on 30.
Going up there. Yeah, Tori, you gotta tell her I say hello. We were both very little.
Yes.
And
then Sherry is in Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, further south, right?
Yes.
Okay, but
and
she's
an
okay.
IT person. She's an IT person working for the school system there.
Wow. Now, Tori being an RN, how is she doing during this whole COVID? Is she okay?
She's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
she's fine. She's actually working from home since she has Jade. Yeah, since she has Jade, so she's been working from home. She had been offered to come in, but she's like, no, she wants to stay there with her baby.
And that's smart. That's good. I didn't mean to cut you off. The play, telling about play, and you were talking about the traveling, the shows you did. It was just a lot of fun. And you know what, Barbara? The traveling was fun. I mean, even for us, you know, when I was in high school especially, and I talked to my wife about it all the time, I would love to get back there with our contracts.
Yes.
Because it can be done. You know, when things got strange with the arts, you know, in the country, and they started cutting funding, we felt that, and I could see it.
Yeah.
Because in high school, even, you know, after Dad passed, you know, of course, Mom kept the company going. Barbara, when I was in high school, we were doing shows every weekend.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not exaggerating, every weekend, and sometimes Saturdays and Sundays.
I believe it.
And that fun of coming together, like it was the family. It creates family.
Yes, it does.
What the art should do if it's done correctly.
Yes.
Because I've worked with a lot of artists that they ain't studying no family. They studying about how many ticket sales, how good the shows look aesthetically, but internally there's nothing going on. And that's why it's interesting for me to hear how I'm really not going to forget about that all-day rehearsal thing, because the only way you do that is you feel like family, you feel safe, and like you're learning. Like it's internally healing. And you can't be at a rehearsal all day like that if everybody's fake and phony.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
So that says a lot about the machine Dad created, and that's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the cultural movement so much. Tell you what it did.
Hell, that's why we're here. Share.
I'm getting ready to, how did they put it? Spill some tea?
Yeah. Spill some tea. Yeah. We'll spill it. Spill it. Share the tea, spill the tea, tell the tea. Anyway.
I actually left work, told him I was sick. And I and Colette actually danced at a high school. And what made it so funny is that they printed it in the newspaper.
Boom, you're busted. They printed that with you and Colette, the picture of you and Colette.
Yes.
Hilarious. You know what, Barbara, that it's what you did. I had a good friend of mine tell me all you did was tell an artist story. We call them artist stories. Because I do a few myself. We have to. You know, we're teachers or whatever job we're in, you know, executives, but it's the arts. You told an artist story, you know. So, but you just got busted.
I wanted to do it, you know, and they enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, I think I sent you a copy of it, or maybe a photo of it.
Yeah.
Colette and I have to look at it again.
I'm sure I got it because if you put it on the Facebook page, I download them, I save them in the files. Thank you. You have great stuff, Barbara. I always tell you, like the way you save it, it's good. It's awesome. What was Dad's personality like? If you had to do, like, what was he like?
He was a very open person. I mean, you could talk to him about anything. And he would tell you the truth. I mean, there was no phoniness about him at all. Mm-hmm. What you asked, you best believe me, you better be ready to receive. Wow. Because he did not bite his tongue when it came, but he did it with love. I mean, you know, he was not the type of person, I've never seen him angry. Now he may get disappointed, but he did it, but you would never know it. He seemed to always have a very calm manner, but he was funny. He could be very funny.
Yeah. And
we just enjoyed being around him. He always had something to say, a story, explain stories. Oh, I love the stories that he would tell about when he was in New York. I love to hear him talk about that, about him and Ann. But your dad was just a really unique person. I always thought so. Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, that's good. He was a good storyteller. He liked telling stories. Well, you know, my next one was how did you become a part of the group? But you know, we got that. You didn't have to audition. You know, you just kind of. That's good. Tell about this one. Tell about one of the shows. What's the most memorable show or concert you did with the cultural movement with Dad? One that sticks out. I know there were many, you know, that's hard. I know it's a tough one. It's like asking your favorite movie, but, you know, it's hard. But which one sticks out?
Okay. Oh, there was a group, I think I sent you the clipping. And there was a group of, I'm not sure exactly where they were from. I think they were from Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. And they were, how your father met them, I don't know. But anyway, we wound up going to the hotel where they were staying. Mm-hmm. And they played with your dad. We danced.
Yeah.
That sticks out in my mind more than anything else. One. Yeah.
And so y'all went to the hotel where we're staying and kind of had a jam session.
Yes.
Socialize with the group.
Yes.
That's good. Do you remember where it was by any chance? City, state?
Goldsboro.
It was in Goldsboro?
It was in Goldsboro. Uh-huh.
Wow.
See, I have to look at it again because they did a big write-up on it.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see. Man, look how I didn't even consider it was in Goldsboro. That goes to show you how much great arts and culture was going on there at that time. You know, in that small city, you know, it's good. Mm-hmm. It's good. The next one I'd say is like, what were the rehearsals like? But you've already kind of answered that. Did y'all take like lunch breaks or something though? If you were there all day,
we did. Yeah, okay. We did. But
would you
know, it
leave and come back?
Yeah, if you wanted to.
If you wanted to.
If you weren't too tired. Look, if you weren't too tired.
But Dad was there throughout the duration. Yeah. You could come back and he would still be there.
Yeah.
Would he say stuff like, "Look, I'm out. Let's stay here till 5," and then you knew that you could go, come back? Like, what was that ethic like? The work ethic.
His work ethic was we generally would have if it was a concert that we were preparing for, if we were getting ready to go out of town to do a piece, we would get there in the morning, make sure that you had breakfast. Fortunately, I didn't live far from the library, so I could easily run home and get something to eat if I needed to.
Right.
And we just had to be ready to rehearse hard, because it was never soft. We never had soft rehearsals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we had an image that we were portraying, which was the company, and we had a product, what I call a product, that we were putting out. So it had to be perfect. That would constitute us being there all day. If there was any changes to be made, we had to make them right then and make sure that it was cemented and, muscle memory and everything. I can remember, I changed up one dance sequence. Colette told me I had to slow down because I had too much energy.
Yeah, but you always did. Barbara, my image of you as a youth, you were always on with energy. Even now I see it. You were always laughing, smiling, and moving quick. That's just me. That's my image of Barbara. And it's a good image. It's good.
Well, thank you, sir. Considering I was probably the oldest one there with kids.
Man, you were the brightest, most energetic, man. Yeah, I loved it. How was Dad about family? How do you feel about his family?
I loved you guys. As a matter of fact, I think the first time that I actually experienced one of the holidays at your house, I think it was Kwanzaa. It was, I had never, like I said, he introduced me to a culture that I was not familiar with.
Wow.
So to go to your house after Christmas, you know what I'm saying, and have the fruit and have them to tell you why we did what we did and explain it. That was awesome. And we sang and we ate. Oh, your mom could cook. Not only your mom, but your grandmother could cook. And it was nothing for us to go over to the house, and she would always have something ready to eat. They always fed you. They always. And
I remember, it's funny, the day before yesterday when I interviewed Colette, she did say there was always people at the house in New York and in Goldsboro. And I guess that's the kind of people Mom and Dad were.
Yeah. They just draw people to them and they just become family.
I didn't even think about the food element yet, because Granny and Mom was always cooking.
Yes, they were.
And they didn't know how to cook for 2 or 3 people. So when they cooked, it was always like huge amounts. So because I remember all y'all making plates and people in and out making plates, but I never remember saying, oh man, we ran out. Who ate it? Like, it was always enough. We were fortunate, I guess.
Yes.
But I remember a lot of people at the house all the time. So you've answered the other ones. What I'm going to do now, it's time to see your photos. We're going to share those with the world so that people can we're in a world of, we're in a visual world. So they can see you with the company and with Dad, etc. So here we go. We're going to share again. And then I have one more question for you, and then we'll wrap up. I really appreciate your time, man.
Not a problem.
It's always good seeing you, even if it is through technology. Let me see. So we're going to share this. Boom. Okay. Now let me see. How do I get back here? Stop the share. Okay, let's stop the share, because I think I have to do this first. Boom. Okay, right. Boom. Yeah, I'll get the hang of this in a minute. I'll get it, I swear. Okay, we're going to share the screen. Boom. We're going to share that. Oh, what did this do? Okay, wait a minute. Now I got to move. I got to get closer. I got to get closer, Barbara. Bear with me. Because I can't half see. Stop. No, mute more. We want to chat. Pause. No, we don't want to end. No, we don't want to. We want to stop the share. Pause. Stop. Da 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 da. Okay. Okay. No, we're not gonna. Okay, we're gonna stop this share, and let me see if I can get back here first. Okay. And I think this is what we want to see here. Can you still see me or no?
Yes.
Okay, you can see me. All right, boom, from the beginning. But okay, and show, and let's see if I share the screen, what happens again. I wonder if I click this. Thank you for being patient. I'm sorry. Okay, that's okay. I think this is good here. I think this is what we needed. Okay, right, because it's a barber time. Slideshow from the beginning. All right, that's what we got. Okay. So there you are, golden school, old school picture.
Yes.
Do you remember where that was?
That looks like it may have been at the library.
Yeah, it's a show, definitely. Library.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it was at the library. I was the goddess of love.
Goddess of love, right? And for those at home, my father taught a lot about the Yoruba religion from Nigeria, West Africa, and this religion has certain deities that are associated with different elements and things in life, which is like an edited explanation. There you go again here. You're here on the end. And there is Vicky. Rest in applause, Vicky. We miss you. There's Colette, of course. And I don't know this young lady here.
Her name escapes me right off the top of my head.
But she was with the company for a while. She was with.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know Vicky? You know, well, I told you, yeah. Shannon and I worked together for a while. Shannon was helping with my show, and that was awesome. Okay, here we go. Here's you. There you go there.
And there's Brenda.
Right, Brenda. Colette over here. And I think that's that same young lady here that
she's gonna get. I'm gonna remember.
Look, you have to send me a message in the inbox, Facebook, when you think about it. And I think that's Jolly. You remember Jolly?
Uh-huh.
Was Jolly a cool dude? Like, just no problems, no sweat?
As far as I can remember, no.
So the drummers got along with the dancer. It was just a good family unit, huh?
And see, the outfits that we're wearing, we made those. Wow. We made those. Between your mom,
or y'all made them yourselves?
We made them ourselves. Your mom and Edna and those of us who could sew, we made those.
Wow, that's good. That's good. There you go, looking beautiful. You know?
Yep, made that outfit too.
I like that. Yeah, I like the colors in that too. And I'm sorry the lighting is so bad. What I did with a lot of these pictures, you know, I took them with my iPhone, but from home. You know, mom has all these classic pictures, and they're too valuable for me to like take out.
Yeah.
This picture is good. There's Dad. Now you're here, and that's Colette. That's Brenda. And I think
I recognize faces, but cannot remember names for nothing.
Yeah. That's Jolly. This might have been
that's Tony.
Tony Stovall, right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. And there you are again.
See, we made that skirt.
Wow. And the costumes look good. The fact that you told me y'all, man, I didn't know you were all involved in that. I just thought it was Mom and Edna, or just Mom. But I remember Edna was there from the beginning too. Like they met early.
They actually showed me some shortcuts on how to do pattern making. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful picture right here. That's a good photo of you doing your thing. Okay, there you go there. I thought this was a good picture.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I don't know.
That was when we were in Showboat.
Oh, got you. That was in the show. Was it at Herman Park Center?
Yes.
In the main auditorium, right? Because
Uh-huh.
I have another photo of them of y'all coming in from the back.
Mm-hmm.
Herman Park Center. Yeah, there's Vicky, Colette, you. I
That's
don't
her
know
name
her.
is Brenda. That's another Brenda.
That's
I was
another.
trying to find her. Yeah, she's another Brenda.
And there's Clemeth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to get Clemeth in on an interview too.
Okay.
Dad and this was Edna's husband. What was his
Mm-hmm.
name? I forget his name, but he was a cool dude to me.
Yeah.
He was cool. And there you go. Let's. I don't want to stop the share though, but okay, good. All right, right, because I get to. No, that's not what I want. Oh, here it is. That picture here, I'm able to blow it up a little bit here. It's the one we looked at, but I get to zoom in and we get to see you really good right here. You know, I know it's dark, but it was cool. So that's the zoom in. Okay, great. Okay, and finally, because I don't want to take too much of your time, I'm having a blast with you though. Last question. If you knew that Dad would drop by for a visit to visit you tomorrow, what would your ideal day be that you spent together? If you knew he was coming by tomorrow, what would your ideal day be?
I would have to say, first of all, find out what he want to eat.
Yeah,
What would he like? What he want
Yeah.
to eat?
Mm-hmm.
What would he like to drink? Show him all my little treasures.
Yeah.
We starting to reminisce.
Mm-hmm.
Find out how he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Teach me a new dance. A
Dance.
little drumming maybe.
Yeah.
Because with him, it was always a party.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
When you said that, you always had people in and out, it was nothing to have an impromptu party at your house.
Wow.
It was nothing. I'm telling you, it was awesome. That's probably why my kids are like they are now, especially Tori.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they was around all the partiers. And you know what? And Barbara, it's never been like that with me. I don't know. It's time and circumstance or just trying to find the grounding. I like the privacy. I like to come home, focus, do things, but I bet you I would be okay if my wife and I had that kind of rhythm, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if we were in the right place,
you have to be in the right place.
Like state, city.
Yeah.
And just more grounded. But that's never happened in any of my households. But I grew up around it. So it's strange. I don't know how Mom and Dad did it, but Colette was saying the same thing.
But but their personalities was like that. Mm-hmm. They were very open, very giving people, and they were just the type of people that just invite you to become a part of their family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. That's all right. What's the biggest impact Dad had on you? Like when you think about this guy, Raymond Hurrey. Like, are there times you think about him like, wow, I'm glad I knew Ray because he taught me that, or I learned that from him.
Yes.
Do you have those moments?
I apply that to the dance ministry that I have at church right now. As a matter of fact, because I have become so enmeshed in African culture that you're going to find a lot of that in my household and in my wardrobe.
That's good.
This is not just, February. This is like every day.
Every day. That's right.
Every day.
It's a daily lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, thank you, Barbara. Thank you. I'm going to show you how old school I am. Kids know how to do all this on the computer and set links. But I have to show this to the folk at home so they can visit the Facebook pages. Okay, y'all pause this on your, because this will be on YouTube. But those are the addresses for Dad's page on Facebook and the Cultural Movement, the group that my father formed. If you want to learn more about them, again, this is going to be on YouTube, Barbara. So yeah. Oh, look, Cultural Movement T-shirt. I don't even have one of those. Oh, look at that. It's in great condition, Barbara. You must don't wear it.
Sure I do. I just don't wear it all the time. Yeah. And I also have a tote bag.
You still have one of the tote bags we had?
Uh-huh.
Man, we were doing so well in like the 80s and 90s with grants,
Yes.
contracts and performances. Mom was able to do, all of that, which is great. And I'm glad I don't even have a culture movement t-shirt, man. Nothing like a t-shirt though. It's great going to do a contract, a performance, and they give you a t-shirt as part of the pay. That's amazing, Barbara. That's amazing. Well, thank you. Anything else? Am I forgetting anything? I feel like I'm rushing off.
No, not really. Just keep me posted. I would love to see some of the other members, because I did run into Linwood Best when I was in Goldsboro.
Really?
He goes to my mom's church.
Yeah. Linwood Best.
He was also a drummer.
I have to see his picture.
Okay.
If you send me his picture, Linwood, because
it's so funny
Best.
Because when we were there last July for Mom's birthday, the family, we all went to church, and he came up to me, and I had to look at him for a minute. Then it dawned on me who it was, and we just hugged and just kind of reminisced for a minute. But he attends my mom's church, Goldsboro Chapel.
Send me his picture, because the only Linwood I know was tall Linwood that danced, but came in after you. I don't even think you knew Linwood. But there was a Linwood that was a dancer.
Yes, I did. Yeah, he was there.
You remember Linwood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he passed away some time ago. But
Matt and Matthew.
Oh man, I often think of Matt. Matt was the most important moment with Matt Pearson was it was my junior year. I was going to the prom, and he tied the bow tie for me. Came to the house. I had the whole kente cloth set up.
Yes.
Looking like, coming to America representing. But Matt was the first one, again, since Dad wasn't around, and Mom told him, and he came straight to the house that night, tied the bow tie for me, man. Matt Pearson, Beauty in Profile, Bip.
Yes.
I was listening to George Howard just 3 nights ago. I was sitting here working, and every time I listen to George Howard, it's because of Matt. Yep, the song "Stepping Out" makes me think of Matt. Yeah, good people, good times.
Yes.
Yeah, and keep up with it. Subscribe to the page. I think I'm supposed to say that. Colette was like, "Yeah, make sure you tell people every time you like a page, subscribe, all that." So definitely subscribe to Barbara to the YouTube page.
Yes. So
when I post something, you'll get a notice.
Yeah. I already did.
Oh, you did? So that's working. It's easy. I'm still learning. I'm glad you can. Yeah. We got to end on a drum roll. Thank you very much, Barbara.
You're welcome.
It was awesome talking to you, man.
It was awesome to see you.
Awesome to see you, indeed. It's better put that way, man. Tell the family hello.
I will.
Big hugs. And of course, we're going to be staying in touch. So
yes.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
I love
All
you,
right,
Barbara.
Mr. Pooh Bear.
Mr. Pooh Bear in the house. Have a good one.
You too.
See you soon. All right, Barbara. And we're going to cancel. Boom. Okay. Let's shrink this down. And I had to stop the recording. Oh.